We're staying with development from Defense Headquarters, where the Nigerian military says investigation into the air bombing of Tundun, Biri has been concluded and 12 military personnel have been indicted. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed that the military personnel are now facing a court-martial. TVC News senior reporter Sifon Essien reports.
Survivors of the drone strike that killed scores of rural dwellers in Tundun, Biri, Kaduna State can now find closure as the military authorities admit that its troops got it all wrong. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, says investigations into the incident has been concluded.
The military has conducted a painstaking investigation into the Tundun, Biri incident that occurred in Kaduna State and has initiated disciplinary action against those that we found culpable. Accordingly, the affected personnel are to face a court-martial for acts of omission or commission with respect to the Tundun, Biri incident.
The drone strike occurred as the villagers were celebrating a religious festival on the 3rd of December last year.
The incident was a mistake, and the victims of the strike were mistaken for terrorists.
General Buba also explains ongoing operations against terrorists in the north central of the country and gives reasons for the withdrawal of troops at Forward Operating Base Alawa in Niger State.
Troops encountered improvised explosive devices, and this was at Maganda Junction. And at that event, 2 soldiers were killed, while 5 others were wounded in action. Now, based on these occurrences, there was a quick need to change tactics in order to maintain the tactical advantage and also in order to have better operational effectiveness. Accordingly, troops in Forward Operational Base Alawa were tactically withdrawn to nearby Forward Operational Base Pandogari.
Despite the withdrawal, troops still launch and sustain onslaught on identified targets. The military authorities say troops will sustain the offensive until its mandate of stamping out terrorism in the country is achieved. Sifon Essien, TVC News, Abuja.
For more updates, a legal practitioner, Bolanle Olugbani, joins me on the news. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
So for a lot of people, they are wondering what the implication of this is, especially under the military, under the democratic dispensation. Run us through what this means.
Well, the court-martial is like a court of superior record. The court-martial is headed by a judge, and then it has a prosecutor, and the rules of evidence, that is the Evidence Act, apply to the way and manner the proceedings at the court-martial will run. In addition to that, the court-martial may impose a death sentence, imprisonment, dismissal, demotion by rank, and anybody affected by the judgment of the court-martial, if it is a death sentence, has a right of appeal. It's an automatic right to appeal to the Court of Appeal. If it is not a death sentence, if it's a demotion or imprisonment, they first have to seek leave of the Court of Appeal, permission of the Court of Appeal to file an appeal. So that's the position.
So when you say Court of Appeal, is that the Court of Appeal outside of the court-martial process, like the usual Court of Appeal that you and I know? That means that the military officers can seek further appeal out of the military process?
Yes, the Court of Appeal, the Civil Court of Appeal, the second highest court in the land, is the next port of call for anybody convicted by a Nigerian court-martial. So if they are also dissatisfied with the outcome at the Court of Appeal, they still have recourse to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And all of the law that governs the armed forces, and the disciplinary or prosecutorial aspect when they commit offenses is the Armed Forces Act. So that is the law under which they will be tried.
And when you look at all of this, what does justice look like for the victims and their families? Would this bring closure to them?
Well, for the dearly departed victims, you know, they're not, no amount of court martial is going to bring them back. But the families can sue the armed forces for compensation and damages, apart from those who, you know, carried out, you know, a great mistake in the conduct of their military operations being punished. There is also recourse to a civil court for general damages against the armed forces.
Following this particular development as it progresses, thank you so much for your time, legal practitioner Bolanle Lugbani.
Thank you.